by the title below.
Welcome back to the Queen's Jinx channel. I appreciate everybody coming back for the second edition of the Queen's Brûlant Canadian Premier League prediction show. So first of all, I want to apologize for probably looking a little funky. I just got out of the gym, and next week is my birthday. I've got some family and friends flying in, and I'm trying to get all my videos recorded as quickly as possible so that way I can spend as much time off YouTube as I possibly can. So that said, we're going to get into the predictions for this week, but before we do, let me recap last week. Last week, all my predictions did very well. In fact, I did not lose a single pick that I had. I looked at losses last week and said, no, no, no. So this week, I am nowhere near as confident with any of these picks because I have to factor in that the Canadian Championship is going to be, a lot of these teams play midweek, and then Forge actually has a CONCACAF championship game. So fitness is going to have to be considered in some of these games, and frankly, some of my picks that does factor into it. And yeah, I'm not confident with any of these games, to be honest with you. I think any of these games could go either way. But that said, let's go ahead and get right into it, shall we? So the first game we've got is going to be the HFX Wanderers and FC Edmonton. Now, this is essentially a game of the top two goal scorers in the Canadian Premier League. You have Morelli with 11 goals, and you have Ongaro, who's tied for second with 7 goals. And the last meeting, FC Edmonton actually won 1-0, and I do think this is going to be a very, very close game. And Ongaro, he's starting to look like he's heating up, and with his height, who's going to match up to him for the Wanderers? I don't know. But that said, I think this is going to be a close game, and I'm giving the edge to FC Edmonton because of the fact that they do not have a game midweek like the Wanderers do. And so I'm taking them at a very close game, maybe 2-1, maybe 1-0. So our second game, we've got Cavalry versus Atletico Ottawa. And in their previous matchup, Atletico actually won 2-0, which is a little bit surprising. Cavalry has shown signs of slowing down, I think, and honestly, in terms of goals scored, they're not too much different. The only difference is Atletico's defense allows a lot more goals than Cavalry. But because of the fact that Atletico actually won 2-0, and because taking into consideration that Cavalry is going to have a tough game in the Canadian Championship just a couple days before this game happens, I think somehow, some way, Atletico is going to pull this game off. And they actually didn't look too terribly bad in the last game this weekend. So we're going to go on to our third of the four games this weekend, which is between Forge and Pacific. Now, this is definitely a heavyweight matchup, in my opinion. I think these are, even though they're not necessarily, the standings doesn't necessarily reflect it, but I think these are the two top teams in the Canadian Premier League. The last game was pretty tight. It was 2-1. Pacific has insane passing. I mean, their midfield is just unbelievable. And Forge does have that CONCACAF Champions League game that I was telling you about, but that's actually a day earlier than the Canadian Championship games, which is why their Canadian Championship game was played last week. So that said, they will have that extra day that some of these other teams won't have, like Pacific. But nonetheless, I don't think fitness is going to be too much of an issue here because both teams have games. I think this game is just going to come down to which team plays better in the midfield. And I think Forge is going to be the team that ends Pacific's unbeaten streak. So I think Forge is going to win this game, reverse of the last game, 2-1. So then we're going to go on to York and Valor. And Valor actually won the previous matchup 3-0, which actually came as a little bit of a surprise to me. York United, or York 9, whatever you prefer to be called. And actually, if you're a fan of the team, comment below and let me know what locals prefer to be called, their team to be called. York 9, York United, just let me know. So that said, York has, the last 13 games, they've only lost to one team, and that's Forge. And that's pretty impressive. And Valor has been trending kind of the wrong direction. They actually haven't flat out won a game since August 24th. And in fact, York has not lost to a team other than Forge since around that time as well. So Valor just seems to be trending in the wrong direction still, and York 9 just, they seem to be a very tough out right now. So I'm taking York United, or York 9 United. I think they're going to win maybe 3-1. I think they're going to put up some goals in this game. And so yeah, that said, there's my Canadian Premier League predictions for the week. And best of luck to Forge in their CONCACAF Champions League game. I hope that they pull it out. I saw the team that they're playing, but I'm not 100% sure what country they're out of. But I hope that they pull it off. And good luck to all the Canadian Premier League teams, as well as the MLS teams in the Canadian Championship games this Wednesday, I believe. So that said, drop your comments. Let me know what I got wrong. Let me know what I got right. How do you think fitness is going to affect these games this weekend? And that said, I hope everybody has a great weekend, and good luck to everyone this week, and stay safe.